In this video, I'll share with you the 7 steps of product research that I use to qualify niches that built my successful Amazon business. But first, my name is Crescent, and if this is our first time meeting, welcome to my channel. My passion is sharing tips and strategies on how you can create a successful Amazon FBA private label business. So if you enjoy videos like this, or especially if you've been around my channel, consider subscribing. All right, let's get started. All right, so the very first step in finding a profitable product when you're doing product research is to make sure that the sales velocity of the entire niche meets your target sales velocity. And to figure out what that target sales velocity is based on what your realistic monthly profit goal is. So for example, if you're aiming to make $3,000 profit per month, a realistic profit margin per unit is around $10. So if you break that down, that means you need to sell at least 300 units per month or 10 units per day. So you want to make sure when you're analyzing niches that the majority of the listings in the entire niche are doing at least 300 units per month. So let's jump in and take a look at a niche for an example. So if we take a look at this can opener niche and we pull up the AMZ Scout Chrome extension, you can see here that there's a column that says estimated sales. And this is the estimated sales velocity per listing per month. And you can see here that this one's doing 4,600, 1,000, 8,900, etc., etc. And you can look up here, it also gives you the average monthly sales is 1,663. Now you have to be very careful here, and here's where I actually recommend never using the average monthly volume here, because this is an average, and an average number of sales is just the total number of sales divided by the number of listings there are, and that can be drastically inaccurate. What you really need is the median, and it's very important that you understand the difference. Okay, so it's better to just count how many listings there are that meet your target sales velocity. So if your target is 300, don't use this average number that you see up here. Actually count how many of these listings are selling at least 300. And you can see here in this can opener niche that the majority of them, pretty much all of them, are doing at least 300 units per month. So in this case, this passes this criteria. Now in contrast, if I show you another niche, for example, this hanging rope chair niche, and if you pull up the Chrome extension here, you'll see that it shows the average monthly sales is 363. And here's where it can get you in trouble if you don't actually use the median. So if you look at the estimated sales, if you count it, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of the top 25 listings here. Less than half are actually meeting your target sales velocity. So it's very important here that you don't go by the average that you see at the top. You need the median, and since that number isn't given to you in any of the Chrome extension tools that I've used, so you have to manually count and come up with this figure, and you want to make sure that it's consistent all the way down for at least the top 15 to 20 listings. And that's important because you want to have confidence that even if you can't get your listing ranked into the top 10 or top 5, that if you're outside that you'll still be able to meet your target sales velocity of 300 units per month. So for example, if we go back to the can opener niche, you can fall anywhere here in the top 20 and you'll know that you can do at least 300 units per month because there's evidence of that through the data that you can see here. Now the second step in finding a profitable product is making sure that the niche has low competition. And the way we judge competition is based on the number of reviews of the entire niche. So what you can do is, again, look at the review column in the niche. So if you pull up a Chrome extension, it's going to give you the number of reviews per listing. And a low competition niche is where 7 of the top 10 listings have less than 75 reviews. And again, you don't want to use this average review score that you see up here. All right, you actually want to count it because again, an average is the total number of reviews divided by the number of listings there are, and that's inaccurate. You need the median. So you need to count how many have less than 75 reviews. So of course, this can opener niche is way too competitive. Pretty much every one of these has over 75 reviews. But if we look at another niche, for example, this watermelon slicer niche, and again, if we pull up the Chrome extension, and if we look at the number of reviews, you can see that the average reviews here says 42. And if we count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see that most of the listings here have less than 75 reviews, and that's great. So as you can see, this watermelon slicer niche has low competition. And again, if you want to verify that, you can click this niche score and it'll show here its overall score, and the competition it says is medium. So that's one good way to verify that you've done this correctly. If we go back to the can opener niche, you can see that if we click on the niche score, it says that it has very strong competition. All right. Now, one other metric that I like to use to help verify the level of competition is by looking at how saturated a niche is. Saturated means how many new sellers have jumped on board in the recent past. And a good way to do this is to use the AMZ Scout Chrome extension. And it's such a powerful tool because it gives you the listing's age right in the Chrome extension. So again, if we look at this can opener niche, you can see there's an available column here. And as you can see, it tells you when this listing was available. And what I consider a new listing is if the age is around 3 to 4 months old. So this video is being recorded at the end of May 2019. So you can see here there's a whole bunch of new listings in this can opener niche. So again, if we go over to this watermelon niche, you can see almost all of these listings are brand new. And there's a specific reason why there's a whole bunch of new sellers here in this niche, which leads us to the third step of finding a profitable product, and that's making sure that the niche isn't seasonal. And what that means is you want to make sure that the niche sells well throughout the entire year, not just a certain period throughout the year. So for example, for this watermelon niche, the reason why you're seeing a whole bunch of new sellers at this time of the year is because people tend to eat watermelons during the summer and not so much during the winter season. And if you click on this niche history, and we can turn off these two metrics here because we don't need to see them, you can see in the last year that in the winter months, this watermelon slicer does not sell well at all, right? Once summer picks up, sales picks up. So this is a seasonal product, so you want to avoid products like this. Now, if we go to the can opener niche, we can do the same thing here and click on the niche history. You can see that sales are rather consistent throughout the entire year. And again, you can turn off these two data points here to clean up the graph a little bit. All right, you can see throughout the last year, sales has been rather consistent. Now, another way you can check seasonality is to go to Google Trends. So if we go to Google Trends and type in can opener, make sure you change this to 5 years. You can see that it's fairly consistent, and the humps you see here is because a can opener actually sells well during the holiday season because it's a very giftable item, right? So you want to be conscious of the fact that these humps doesn't mean that it's seasonal in the winter. It just means that it sells well during the winter season. Now, if we look at a product such as a pool float, which is something we all know definitely is seasonal, you can see that it has definite peaks and troughs during the summer months, right? Every year. So this shows you that a pool float is a highly seasonal product, and I suggest avoiding products like this. Now, one new feature that AMZ Scout just introduced recently is called a saturation score. So if we go back to the watermelon niche and we look at the top header here, there's a new metric here called the saturation score. And this is going to help you analyze niches to see how many people have looked at this niche in the recent past. So if you look here, it says 91 sellers has found this niche in the last month, and it's giving a score of 10. So 91 people have examined this niche. So you want to make sure you're looking at niches where the saturation score is low, which means less sellers have looked at this niche. All right, now step number 4 is making sure that the niche isn't brand dominated. And it's very important here because you want to make sure that if you enter this niche, you're not competing against a major brand or a brand that is dominating the niche, which means a single seller doesn't have a lot of listings in the top organically ranked positions. This is a problem because if a brand is well known within that niche, buyers tend to be more brand loyal and are buying strictly from this specific brand. So it'll be difficult for you to get sales, especially if you're a new seller with 0 reviews. So if we take a look at the can opener niche again, you can see here, if you look at the brand column, you can see that Keebly has 1, 2, 3 listings in the top 10. KitchenAid, which is a major brand, so is Keebly. Hamilton Beach, Cuisinart, these are all well-established major corporations selling in this can opener niche. So buyers that are looking at the can opener niche are probably more likely to buy specifically from these major brands. So for you to enter this niche as a private label, it's going to be hard for you to gain any traction. So even if it's not a major brand, if they have 3 or more listings in the top organically ranked positions, avoid that niche because they could be driving traffic from outside sources as well. So it'd be difficult for you to compete against them. All right, so step number 5, and this is a very important step that you cannot overlook and a lot of beginners have trouble with, and that's making sure that the product isn't patented or trademarked. And it's very important that you do your due diligence here, because if you end up selling this product, your products are actually considered counterfeit and you can get sued. So you have to be very careful here. Now, if we take a look at one product that a lot of beginner sellers got in trouble with, and that's the full face snorkel mask, which is this product here. Now, this is a super popular product when it first hit the market about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and it got a lot of beginners in trouble because this is a patented product. So you need to do your due diligence here. I can't express the importance of this. So what I suggest you do is you can go to Google Patents or uspto.gov and check for any patents. So if we go to Google Patents, for example, and type in full face snorkel mask, we can look through here and see if we find anything that's similar to the products that we saw on Amazon. And right away I can see this photo right here looks like that snorkel mask. So if we click on it, you can see that that is pretty much the exact same product. Right? Again, if we go to Amazon and look at it, that looks like the exact same product. And if we come over here and look at the application status, you can see that it was filed here on October 2017. And as of today, the application status is pending, which means at any time they can get approval status for their patents. So you need to stay away from these types of products. Now, if you're looking for more in-depth information on how to search for patents, I'll have a video on that here. All right, so step number 6 to finding profitable products on Amazon is to make sure you have a strong method of differentiation. Now, differentiation means that you do something different with your product to separate yours from the other sellers. But there's a key aspect here that I want to drive home when you differentiate. Differentiating doesn't mean to just add some random method that's different than other sellers. The method that you choose needs to add real value. So common methods of differentiation are to improve the product, find a problem and fix it, add a feature, or bundling. Now you can find ways to add a feature, fix a problem, or improve the product by looking at the reviews. So what I recommend is actually reading the reviews and seeing if there's anything common amongst all the products in that niche to identify anything that people are commonly complaining about. And you can improve the product, fix a problem, or improve or add a feature based on what people are saying within the niche. Now to bundle, again, you want to add a product that pairs well with that main product. So you can look at what people have frequently bought together in the frequently bought together section, or there's a website called yasiv.com, which I'll leave a link to a video that I go in depth on how to use that, and I'll leave a link to that video here. Now, one very important point that I want to distinguish here is that the method of differentiation that you choose needs to add value. What that means is it cannot be subjective. It needs to be something objective so it applies to anybody that comes to look at your product. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, for example, there's a couple of niches where the product research criteria actually look good, but in my opinion, they're very difficult to differentiate objectively. So the first one here is the baby milestone blankets, where a lot of beginners have actually got into this, and it's very difficult to sell because it's so hard to differentiate, because you need to be careful how you differentiate it. Now, what do I mean by differentiating on something subjective? So in my opinion, a poor way to differentiate is based on the design or the color of this baby milestone blanket. You can see here that a lot of them have different designs, the different flowers, different fonts, different numbers, different characters on there. Basically, they have a different design, trying to differentiate based on that design. Now, that's not a very good way to differentiate, because if someone doesn't like your design or your font or your color, they're just not going to buy your product. You need to differentiate based on something objective, such as a better quality material for the blanket. Or if people are complaining that the size is too small, you make the size of the blanket bigger. Or the colors fade after a few washes, then you make the colors more permanent, and you can talk to your manufacturer about that. It has to be something objective, not subjective. A second example is these party decorations. And this is a happy birthday one that I'm showing you for an example, but this is the same for wedding decorations or bachelor party decorations or graduation party decorations. It doesn't matter. Again, this is very difficult to differentiate, because if you simply change design or the color or the theme, if someone doesn't like what you did, they're just simply not going to buy your party decoration, right? So, and for example, this, it's hard to differentiate because how are you going to add value to this that's objective? So again, if I don't like the gold and black theme, I'm not going to buy your product. If I don't like your rainbow colored one, I'm not going to buy your product, right? And this is more female oriented. I'm not going to buy it if the birthday party is for a male, right? So again, make sure the way you differentiate is objective and not subjective. And it's very important that you have this in mind. All right, and lastly, step number 7 is you need to make sure that the product is profitable. And this is a huge beginner mistake that a lot of beginners make because they're in such a hurry to find a product to sell that they forget that the whole goal of any business is to make money. So when you find a viable niche that passes all the product research criteria, you need to do your due diligence to make sure that there's money to be made. So one fast way to do that is to use the FBA calculator in the AMZ Scout Chrome extension. So for example, if we're looking at the can opener niche and I'm looking to sell a product like one of these can openers, I can pull up the Chrome extension and I can see that it's pulled up those listings here, and I can click on the profit calculator and it's going to pull up the price of that listing for me already. Now what I need to do is then find out what a realistic cost per unit is for this product. And to do that, we jump over to Alibaba.com. Now once you're on Alibaba, search for can opener. And here's where all the manufacturers have listed their can openers for sale with an estimate of what it costs per unit. So I'm going to come here and find the stainless steel can opener that I want to sell and take a mental note of what the price ranges are and get a good average of that price. So I can see here that these two are similar and the average price is around $1.50-ish. And if we take a look, here's a little more expensive one. Here's more around $1 range for these ones. Again, about $1 for these ones. A good way to judge the price is to just take an average of what the high and low is. So the stainless steel can opener here is around $1 range. So if we go back to the profit calculator, the unit cost is going to be about $1. We can't forget the shipping costs, and a good way to estimate that for products that are in the small tier category on Amazon is to just double that. So if the can opener costs $1, shipping is probably going to be $1 as well. So the total cost for me is $2. So I'll put $2 in here. And the product weight and size comes from the listing. So it's already entered there for you. And it's important because that's how the Amazon fees are calculated. And you can see here that the storage fee is a penny. The pick and pack fee is the Amazon fulfillment fee. And the referral fee is $1.80, which is based on the sale price of the product. So the $11.97. And you can see here that the total fees is $5.09 and my profit per unit is $4.88. All right, so you got to make sure that you do your due diligence here to make sure there's money to be made. Otherwise, you're just going through the actions of selling products and you're not going to make any money at the end of the day. Okay, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, post them in the comments section below. And if you're wondering what software I used during this video, it's the Chrome extension from AMZ Scout. They offer a free trial period for you to test it out, and I'll leave a link in the video description below with a coupon for you so you can save some money should you decide to purchase it. All right, thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And to make sure you never miss a video, click that bell icon to turn on notifications. There's also a link in the video description below to our community forums, which you should totally join. And if you're looking for more tips and strategy videos, click or tap over here. And as always, thanks for watching.